for this opportunity to come to you and to speak and to teach you. We just please welcome my co-host and our producer, Mr. Jason Rodriguez. Hi, Jay. How are you?
Peace and blessings. Just want to know that we are now streaming live on YouTube. Word, you get to see everyone in the studio.
Very blessed each and every one of you and my sister down here in Dallas, Texas, DeSoto, Texas. Lamitra Henderson, how are you, sweetheart?
I'm doing just great.
Well, good.
We missed you, Mimi. We ain't get a chance to hear from you.
Who is this talking?
Hey, brother Jason.
That's Jason.
I ain't had a chance to hear from you in a while. I've been MIA around here.
Well, I tell you, I've been having to wing it by myself because Jason, you know, he even got famous now, and so we're only able to get him when he ain't working for the parent company. So exactly.
Must be nice.
No, they got. I never forget Whitfield that did all that writing for the Temptations. Papa was a Rolling Stone. He said, you up there fattening frogs for snakes. You bring them in and they see what you got. You done fatten them up and made them just perfect and wonderful. And if other folks see them, they come and snatch them up. But Jason is just an unusual talent and spirit, and probably one of the few people I know with a work ethic that goes beyond what is the norm. This brother's got 3 or 4 different jobs, driving hacks. Well, they used to call them hacks. They're now Uber here. You know, that started here in Baltimore. The hack. Huh?
You have Lyft also? You have Lyft?
Yeah, we have Lyft, and I understand that Lyft pays more. So I got when I was in Detroit, my friend David Rich was telling me that he prefers Lyft because they pay their drivers more. So, but at any rate, anybody got a car with insurance, ain't no reason for you not to have no money these days, because you can definitely get out there, and there's plenty of money to be made working for Uber or Lyft. God bless each and every one of you. As you all know, this day, I believe we have now 8 days before the election, which is November the 6th. And many of us, you voted already?
Yes, I voted already.
Wow, I'm reading down there in Texas where they get all these machines are broken, and when you vote for Beto, it's going to Cruz. Did you hear about that?
What? Yeah, yes,
yeah, and then the election judges are saying they don't have to fix it. They don't have to fix it. That's the reason I don't care what nobody say until we go to a system of paper ballots.
Right.
We are our system is in trouble. We don't know, and these Republicans are so ruthless. Our prayers go out to those 11 people that were killed in Pittsburgh this past weekend, over the weekend, and 11 of them shot by a gunman who came in, and y'all's president says that they'd had a security guard in there, that wouldn't have happened. This man is so ignorant, so lacking in empathy, and so stupid that he says such stupid things that we just have to shake our heads. But we need to do more than shake our heads. We need to
shake our finger at him.
No, shake our finger when we punch that voting machine. That's what you point your finger at.
Yeah.
Point that finger at that voting machine, and which brings up my topic for the day. I have noticed that a number of African American leaders, considered so-called leaders, are not backing Ben Jealous for governor. They're backing Ben Hogan, and which is shocking.
Why is that shocking?
Well, first of all, the things that are most important to the black community, Hogan is against, like unions. Work unions. Do you all know that without unions there would be no 8-hour workday? Do y'all know without unions there would be no paid vacation? Do you know without unions there would be no increases in your hourly wage? Did you know without unions there would be no work hazard safety rules without unions? And Hogan is against unions. That just baffles me. But then he wants the privatization of Social Security. He's a Republican. They don't want people to get Social Security, and they don't have any choice in it. This is not their money. We have paid this money. They're acting like they're doing us a favor by pay after $250,000 you paid into Social Security. You are good. And they keep borrowing the money and not putting it back, then say it's in trouble as they go and give their rich buddies tax cuts that they're not paying their fair share. No, Hogan is absolutely wrong. And look at what he's done or hasn't done for education. He cut education, what was it, $68 million? $68 million, and he complains about the school board. Now, I admit the school board needs some help, but if I was the governor, I'd go down there. If I'm giving you money, I'd go down there and make sure you're doing it. I'm so tired of these people who are saying that what other people are doing, and you're giving them the taxpayer money, but you're not going down there and do due diligence to make sure that they do what they're supposed to be doing with the taxpayer money.
Pat, I don't know if it's so much that he's a Republican. I think that Hogan is the reason why he's the way that he is. It's because he's a private sector person, technically. And even recently, and I never really agree with Governor O'Malley, but recently Governor O'Malley has come out and said that the governor has benefited tremendously from the changes that have gone on within the government and has built up his wealth in the process of his term.
Who's built up? talking about
Hogan. Yeah,
has built up his personal wealth.
Yeah, because he's a private sector person, right? Yeah. And that's what he was looking at doing in the first place. That was his agenda. I remember when we met the governor out in the community, and he sent Steve McAdams and them. They made it clear that after they were done after these 2 terms, if they win a second election, they were going back to the private sector. That's what they were interested in. That's all they were interested in, was technically the private sector, and that they're not governmental people, that they're not politicians, quote unquote.
Well, they are politicians if they're elected. They might say that they're not the typical politicians, but what they're doing is enriching themselves against the people.
Correct.
So that is nothing but a politician, a lying piece of crap.
Yeah.
That ain't
but
why
a real
we
politician should be about the people and the policies and that benefit the people and building communities and building the state up. But again, this particular administration has been about building their own wealth.
Yes.
About building their own financial gains.
I know, and that's wrong. Don't you think that's wrong?
I mean,
who would think that is not wrong? That's absolutely terrible.
We keep saying that's wrong in reference to President Trump, because they've said that he's done the same thing in reference to the tax benefits and the breaks. Most of them, most of these tax benefits and breaks have benefited Donald Trump.
Well, I tell you all what, do not be deceived. Do not be deceived. I'm looking at people over in Park Heights, which I'm not surprised, very prominent black people who are endorsing Hogan simply because they've gotten favors. They've gotten special concerns, and I understand that paying it back. But I just wish they would be real smart and do like they did down there. What was the black guy who ran, Bradley, who ran in California for governor? He had been a great mayor of Los Angeles and done great things, and everybody just knew he was a shoo-in for governor, right? And all the polls said he was going to win. Shoot. Them white folks went in there and behind that curtain closed, they voted against him after saying they were going to vote for him. I'm hoping this is what our people do for Hogan. Say they're going to vote for him, but go in there and push that button for jealousy. I'm wondering, when does it come about where we actually look at each other and see the value in each other as a person? Look at what's happening with the Jewish people. No matter what happens to them, they are going to stick together. They're going to stick together. I don't care what comes. You can slay them. Though you slay them, yet do they trust in their solidity. When will that ever happen with our people? Ben Jallis is not only well educated, he's been very prosperous in what he's doing, and I love even his business that he's in. When he goes, he's a venture capitalist, but he finds people that don't have anything, that have an idea, and finds fund money to help them get their ideas. He's showing mercy, and he's showing a ministry that no other politician that I've really heard of in a long time. He's well educated. He's half black and half white, but his mom and dad had to leave town. so they could stay married. Whereas Barack Obama's daddy left his mama, and his mama raised him. But Ben Jallis's parents, he know what it means to be black and have to be discriminated against. He's smart enough to know that he can't forget the rural areas, and he's got to get the urban areas. And when he talks, he's clear, he's visionary, he is untapped, he is untouched by scandal. And look at what gets me is that you'll notice the whole thing they're saying he doesn't have the temperament, the angry black man, which is the same thing they did to Barack Obama. And God knows that was the last thing that man was, an angry black man. I wish he had been a little angrier. I think we would be in a lot for a better state as far as the people is concerned once he had all that power, because we see how much power the presidency holds with Donald Trump. They can say, oh, he couldn't do it because of the Republicans. That don't matter. You push it forth, and they let the courts decide, which they did decide on some of those executive actions that he did, but he still tried. Not as much as I felt like he should have. Now he's coming out talking about the Republicans like he should have been talking about them the same all the time, that they're a bunch of scumbags. Okay, they have no intentions. They're selfish. They're mentally unstable Neanderthals. You know, the Neanderthals were supposed to die off, but before they died off, some of that blood got into some of them. And I you know what? This is so weird, and I feel we're a little strange about saying it. Iran always called America the Satan of the world. With Trump in office, oh my God, is this satanic or is it satanic? I've never, nobody's ever seen anything like this. Even the president hated us. He wouldn't come just straight out and just do things. Oh, go ahead and beat them up. Told the police, oh, go ahead and bump their heads on when you put them in the car. Thugs. Every black man is a thug. This man is there's something wrong, and we have the opportunity to stop him. The only way we can stop him is by turning the House, the Congress, and the Senate to Democrats, and they will hold him accountable and stop this madness, y'all. Our democracy is at stake. We don't have a choice. We've got to vote.
I think it's going to happen, though. Again, they just did a survey just recently, and what I told you a few weeks ago, right here, I testified to the fact that you're seeing more women are upset at the current administration, the current culture of politics in this country, and they're more of them are registering to vote. And when they surveyed these women and they asked these women how they were going to exercise their right to vote this time, many of them said that they were going to make sure that they put a Democrat in office.
Yes, well, let's just hope that it follows through. But you know, y'all's President 45 had a conference, a Black Youth Summit at the White House today, and you got all these black kids, teenagers in there hollering, "Lock her up," and shut down the wall. Okay.
What?
Yeah, it was just unbelievable. And I took pictures of them, and I put them on Facebook. I say, if you know them, let them know that they are now marked, that you know who they are. Now, mind you, and I'm going to say the same thing, and some people might get upset with me for saying this, but all of these black people in Baltimore that are supporting and voting for Hogan, I believe that we should keep their faces and their names in our spirits, so that when they come through and they say something, immediately be suspect. Realize that they're not a part of the team. They're part of those people who are selling out, who are getting things for their own. He's a great man, brilliant man. That we decide as a people and stop doing things. I read Nat Turner and that betrayed him, who went into a man. His name was Pharaoh. What a name. Pharaoh. His name was Pharaoh. And I went, wait a minute, let's go back here. Wasn't the Pharaoh in the Bible? Wasn't it supposed to have been the Pharaohs? The Pharaohs was the ones that was supposedly holding people captive, right? So this guy's name is Pharaoh. So from now on, all these sellouts, all these people that are turning their back on us, you rest assured it's not just on Jallis that they're turning their back. This is who they are. They're voting what they feel like they should do, not because of qualifications. The HBCU problem alone should disqualify Hogan from being governor. He has not moving or shaking. And Frost, well, too. Although I'm afraid of that other guy, Gibson, whatever his name is. I'm afraid of him because he's a Republican. And if Larry Hogan wins and a governor like that, we don't have any recall power in this state. We can't call these people back. So I'm telling y'all, I'm a little nervous about this, and I'm hoping Frost in this next week decides he's going to drop the lawsuit since the governor is saying that it's Frost that's doing it, which we know is a lie because the buck stops with the governor. Yeah. The governor is the one that calls the shot. But he's not doing it. So when you vote and you vote for Hogan, you're going to be voting against, if your child wants to go to a historically black school like Morgan, Coppin, or Bowie State, rest assured, if this lawsuit goes to the Fourth Circuit Court, it's going to the Supreme Court. And if it goes to the Supreme Court, HBCUs will be shut down. Shut down because they will not fund them the way that they do the other schools like Harvard, and which don't even need the money, okay? And John Hopkins. So realize what you're doing here. Think about the children. I read something the other day that said the brilliant and wonderful man is not the one that plants trees for himself, but plants trees for his children, for the children to come. We need to stop looking at our noses in front of our faces, and that's as far as we can see, and realize that this next generation has got to do something different. And I believe it will because of the Common Core program that's in the school, that's teaching them to be critical thinkers. White folks don't like it. I saw something the other day. My brother put it up on Facebook saying where Bill Gates was supposedly saying he wasn't backing it anymore. Of course, it was a lie straight from hell. The #1 school system in the whole world is in Finland. And Finland is Common Core. So why would it fail? Except for lazy teachers who don't want to learn it, and administrators, white administrators, that don't want black kids to use their critical mind. Just to think, if we had all grown up being critical thinkers like they are, half this stuff, excuse my language, y'all pray for your brother. I need help. Lay your hands on me. You lay your hands, whatever you want to say. Excuse me, forgive me, but that's the way I feel about it. This stuff wouldn't be happening if we realized somebody doing something like saying, "Oh, you can't come in here." You say, "Baby, so who you think you're talking to? I can't come in here. You need to get up out of my way." Or like somebody that's a former prisoner that don't know that they can now vote, and you tell them you can't vote because you're a felon. You're a liar. They can vote. Yes, it's those simple kind of things. Well, we don't think about it. We don't go search on it, but we go and tell other people about it because we think that's the way it is because that's our opinion. We've got to stop that. And we've got to stop doing it to our children because they go and they repeat what you've done and what you say till they see that you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? Then your word means nothing to them. They say, "Oh, you told me so-and-so, so-and-so." They might not say it to you, but you rest assured they ain't paying no attention. My mama said they ain't studying you. I found out what the word studying means. It means studying. In other words, they're paying no attention. When they say they ain't studying you, that... right.
I remember that.
You remember that? That was a southern thing, especially down to that. I ain't... Let me go... Get out of my face, boy. Ain't nobody studying you. Right. You know, in other words, I'm not entertaining you. I'm not studying you. I'm paying no attention. That's the way our kids are becoming. And I see it every day. Teachers look at me funny. I'm in the cafeteria, right, and I see a kid crying. I can't stand to see him crying. I got to go to and ask them why.
What's wrong? Yeah.
What's wrong? Why you crying? And then they'll tell me he hit me. I go get the little one that hit him and say, "Did you intend to?" "No, Miss Henderson, I was just playing." Well, tell him you're sorry. "All right, Miss Henderson, I'm sorry." Turn around 5 minutes later, they playing, having a good time.
That's right.
But you cannot believe, I heard this lady on WOLB on Larry Show, I believe it was, from John Hopkins University. And she's University of Maryland. And she's talking about people talking when a baby is crying, people tell them, don't touch that baby. That you're going to spoil that baby. She said, don't you ever believe that. Don't you ever believe that. Love that baby. Look, they say, come here, feeling like you're going to leave them. You're going to abandon them. So when you pick them up and reassure them, then they gain confidence in themselves and in you, and they're not fearful of the world. Now, go pick that. Stop when somebody tell you, you ain't going to do nothing but spoil that baby. Say, "Baby, it's my baby."
That's right.
It's my baby. And that's what I want to do. I want them to know he's the most precious. She is the most precious thing in this world to me. And if they're in distress, just like if I was crying, I would want you to find out what's wrong with me. Why wouldn't I do it for my child?
That's right. That's right.
We've these old wives' tales, man. They just if you're crying, instead of you cry too much, you're gonna get colic, and the navel is gonna get big. No, the navel is gonna get big because it wasn't cut right, first of all. And if you put a quarter or coin on it and tape it to it, it'll go up to normal. My mama had 7 of them.
Right,
Okay, and
right,
I watched what she did.
Right.
But these old wives tell, man, they just carry on, carry on. Don't pick that baby up because she ain't gonna do nothing but spoil him. That is a crock from hell. Stop paying attention to it, y'all. Let our babies know they are the most valuable, most important, and listen to them.
Yeah.
Stop telling them what to get somewhere and sit down. I was thinking last night, how come every week I end up on children? I can't help it. I just can't help it because I just feel like there's nothing more important.
Man.
When you somebody hit you, if I walked over there and punched you in your face right now, Jason, what would you say? Because it was me, you might say, Patrick, what's wrong?
Yeah.
But if you didn't know me, what would you do?
Yeah.
You'd punch me back, probably, right?
Or push you back. Yeah.
Push me back or knock me into yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So why do we think it's okay to hit children? I don't understand that. If it's against the law for me to hit you, why should that? A child ain't your property. That's another human being. Why do we think it's our property? We can do whatever we want to them because we're the adult. Make sure you remember that time when Frankie got his last whooping. Frank is our brother that didn't. He was a little different. He was the third one. And Frankie had everything. He was tall, handsome, athletic, smart, had everything, but mean as hell. And so one day, Mom, I remember the last whipping he got. My mother was whipping him, and he grabbed that belt, and he said, just because you're an adult don't mean you are always right.
I remember that. Yeah.
Mama went crazy, but she talked to me about it a few days later. She said, you know what? He has a point. Just because you're an adult don't mean you're always right. So if you ain't sure, ask that kid, was I too rough on you? Mama, sorry, I didn't mean to. You just made me angry. Don't feel like you can't apologize to your children. Because if you don't do it, then they ain't going to do it to nobody else. Because they never learned, they never saw it. So then I see them at school because you done beat them, some of you, in the morning on their way to school and stuff because they didn't get up and get moving fast enough. Then they come to school mad. Who they take it out on? The other children.
The other kids.
And the teachers.
Yeah. I heard someone around here the other day, I'm not going to call their name out DJ-wise, but I heard them say that, yeah, I got beat by my father and I turned out all right.
That's what everybody believes.
And that's
they
what
did.
everybody believes.
That's what they believe. That's what they believe, but it is scarring.
Yeah.
It is scarring because then it teaches you that violence is a way to solve a problem.
Yeah. When I heard that, it just sent this chills up my spine.
But see, we won't talk about it, Jay.
Yeah.
When I put it on my Facebook and I talk about it, I put things about education, 90% of the respondents are white. If I get 5% of black people to respond to it. It is the place they don't want to go. They don't want to talk about it. And because we don't want to talk about it, we keep repeating it and expecting a different result. And it's not coming. It is not coming. We got to reconsider how we talk to each other. We got to reconsider how we talk to our children. And we got to stop this thing where you a child, you can't talk to me like that. Teach him to be mannerable, but let him speak his mind because he's developing his critical thinking skills that he's going to need. So when his little dumbass peers come up and tell him, come on, I got these rocks. Come on, you can make $5 a rock and stuff. And the kid gonna do, I ain't gonna do that because I ain't trying to go to jail. They'll understand that they don't want to be involved in that. But if you haven't taught them to critically think, what's to give them the idea that they shouldn't do it?
Yeah, but Pat, I ask this question all the time. Has our community reached the point of no return?
No.
You know,
I don't.
Are we without change? Are we without correction?
The only hope we have is this next generation. Remember what Frederick Douglass said, it is easier to mold and shape a child than it is to fix a broken man or woman. And that's what we got to think. That's what I believe. Because it's hard talking to these adults. They got it stuck in their head. This is the way I did. This is the way my mama did it. That old-time religion was good enough. But no, it wasn't. That old-time religion kept you enslaved and did bad things for you and your family and got you fixated on going to heaven and forgetting how to live here on earth because living here on earth was so uncomfortable. I don't want that. And I don't want kids to grow up with that kind of mentality. I want them to know that they are blessed beyond measure because they're human beings, first of all, and they're black. So there's DNA in their bloodstream that has created civilization, and within their brain, within their minds are some of the greatest ideas and inventions that have ever walked the face of the earth, proved, not some sort of illusory idea. This is who our children are. Carl Sagan said that 90% of all black children are born geniuses, but we beat it out of them. We talk it out of them. We don't validate them. So that's the thing. No, I'm not giving up hope. The only hope I have is the children and some adults that are starting to think and understand that what is going on.
But I see the fruits, of course, your works. But is it too few, too little?
Well, there's a lot going on. That's interesting that you would say that. And there are a lot of programs here in Baltimore that are doing some incredible things, but you don't hear about them. They get in their little silos and they work by themselves and stuff. And you notice when they just gave that, was that $15 million or whatever? With some of the people we never even heard of, and the ones that we had heard of didn't get none.
They're the ones that should have gotten.
That should have, but everybody knows they've done incredible work. They didn't even get any of the money. So it shows you there are a lot of things going on. So when the collective comes together and everybody say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Well, how can I help you do what you're doing? How can I help you do it? How can you help me do what I do? Until that comes about, then we will still have people like these people that are voting for Hogan not seeing the big picture. They can't see their nose any farther than the nose is in the front of their faces.
I always say that, to me, the only way that we'll get back to the way we used to be is if we start living the way that we used to be in our greatness, and that's live more tribal, more as a village, more as a community, until we get back to that point.
I wish, but tribalism is a good thing, but then tribalism can have because it sometimes promotes groupthink.
Right.
And that's what religion does.
But I'm saying, when we lived as a community, when we lived as a tribe, as a nation, there were certain things that didn't happen. We didn't allow people to fall through the cracks. We didn't allow children to go without. We didn't allow the homeless. We didn't allow things within our village. Everybody was taken care of, all the way to the elders were taken care of.
But remember, the Yoruba was different from what's the other ones, the Nigerians. Today they still can't stand each other.
Right.
Okay, so your tribalism.
And
see, I'm a little.
Exactly.
You see, I'm a little nervous about that.
About what the tribes say, though.
Yeah, the dictates instead of being how commonality because
I'm not
of the color of our
saying
skin.
to have a tribe in the sense where you have a ruler, a king. But that sense of principle that we had
that should just go over
when we was in community. Like, we didn't allow Little Pookie and Little Peanut to run amok, because Little Pookie and Little Peanut was taught how to be gatherers and to be responsible for the village and to take care of the elders and to help build the community. A lot of times we turn our backs on the village. You know what I mean? We're not being the village anymore.
Well, but check it out. The village got exposed.
Yeah.
Okay, I was reading the other day, a little 15-year-old girl got pregnant, and her mother had a baby shower for her. People were just going, this is outrageous.
See, that's the stuff that I'm talking about.
This is the people were outraged. How would you celebrate a 15-year-old? She probably needed the diapers. She probably was going to need whatever she had.
Of course.
But the community, there was a time they had to send that little girl off somewhere down
south
somewhere.
Right.
Because they couldn't have accepted, even in the church, if you got pregnant, you had to come sit on the mourner's bench.
Yeah.
But those things have changed. Exactly.
Yeah,
so
but we don't have any shame in the things that we do that we know are not necessarily.
But it's still, I hear you, Jay, but still, there are churches that will not christen a baby that was born out of wedlock. Yeah. Can you believe that?
Right.
So you deny God to that child because his parents didn't sign a piece of paper. Right. So it's just catch-22 sometimes. You can't win for losing. Whoever got impregnated that little girl, I hope they're in jail. It's probably some 16, 17-year-old boy because they didn't say anything about that. But
within a few years, he'll probably be living in the same house with the mother
he probably
and
if he's not in jail and has no means of paying child support.
Yeah.
That's
hope
what it is.
Not an uncle.
Well, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
No, please.
You have been listening.
Let's keep it rated G for the day. Rated God for the day.
It's hard. What if we all spoke Swahili?
Right.
What if we all had one common language that everybody black spoke?
Yeah.
Do you think that would be healing? That would be something that would bring us together? I do. I always wonder why we just didn't make that our international language. Every black person speaks Swahili so we could communicate with each other. God bless each and every one of you. You've been listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Say goodbye, Jason.
I love y'all, family. Tune in tomorrow. We'll have the White Pettit, Richard Terry,
Doc Cheatham.
and Doc Cheatham
Yes.
doing an election special.
Yes, we are. So we want to know what y'all think about it and who you're voting for, whom, and why. God bless you. Dwayne, thank you as usual. Always masterfully done. Lamitra, love you, sweetheart.
Be safe down there, sister.
Be safe and tell everybody I said hi. And,
Okay. All right.
All right, we'll see you all tomorrow, or we'll hear you tomorrow on WOLB 1010 Baltimore at 11:30. You have been listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People on Spirit 1400. God bless. Have a great balance of the day.
WWIN HD Baltimore, and now broadcasting live on the internet at mybaltimorespirit.com, a Radio 1 station.
We know your feet come first, but sometimes your feet can't handle the truth that no matter what you do, you can't make your pain and discomfort go away. That's why you should know about patented Topperson Foot Pain Relief Cream. With 14 natural biomedicines, including arnica and echinacea, Topperson Foot Pain Relief Cream helps treat neuropathy, gout, bunions, plantar fasciitis, and just plain old wear and tear. And if you've got diabetes, Topperson Foot Pain Relief Cream can help bring you real relief, as it's done for millions of folks just like you. So, if a lifetime of fast moves has left you flat-footed, why not try Topperson Foot Pain Relief Cream? You might just be dancing to a different tune. Odorless, moisturizing, and safe 2-ounce Topperson Foot Pain Relief Cream is now available in the diabetic section at CVS. Topperson Foot is also available at Walgreens, Rite Aid, The Vitamin Shop, and at thousands of regional markets and local pharmacies. Pain-free, live free. Topperson, rub it in.